Choti. Deepiness. Let the lesser. Agay. Second to the fight.
Let's go!
Hello everyone and welcome to the Premier League of Terra Mystica. I'm Aaron, known over on Board Game Arena as webberaj, and I am joined by Jekyll again for this game. Jekyll, welcome. Thanks for doing this.
Hi everybody.
So let's just jump right over to the game board. We're going to do some introductions on who's playing today. We can give you a recap on Game 1, but the game has just started, so let's jump over to the game board and we can help break down the setup as well as we're doing some introductions of the game. Cool. Here we go. So just while folks are taking a look at this, Jekyll, would you mind sort of just like recapping the last game and sort of just going over what happened there, who won, that kind of stuff?
Sure. So last week we had a really close game. 7-2-5 did come out the winner with a really great maidens game. But the spread was super close. Winner was 153 points. D-Finesse uncharacteristically in fourth place at 145, so just an 8-point spread.
Right.
And if you remember, Halai just barely missed first place with like a small error with his last move. A priest, instead of putting it to call, he dug with it, and I think that did cost him the win. But he
really
got second.
It was that close for last game.
I think so. I think that if he had put the priest to call, it would have cost 7-2 2 points on one of the cults, and then Halai would have gotten an extra resource point, which would have put him just over.
Yeah, it was amazing.
And then Matt the Lesser, if you remember the whole game, I was like, accolades.
Yep, absolutely.
And then he got third. So yeah, I'm hoping D-Finesse coming back with a vengeance.
Right.
Today.
And so if you're new to TMTL, just to give you an idea of what's going on, of course, this is the Premier League of TMTL, so it's the highest division in the tournament. And the way that the tournament is structured is that we have 5 different games that are being played, and they're all 4-player games. So 5 players playing 4-player games. It means each week one of the players is sitting out. And so this week it's Matt the Lesser is not playing today, so we have the other 4 players in Dongehote, Deep Finesse, Halai, and 7-2-5. Can we start calling them STF? Is that like a taken acronym that means anything? Does that work, STF?
I like 7-2 because then you can use the little emojis in the Discord. I like that.
Okay, fair enough. And of course, the person to sort of keep an eye on in this division here is 7-2, who, I mean, you can see on the ELO ratings that are just appearing on the player boards right now is sort of a mid-400s ranked player. I think their ELO's sort of been all over the place, but is obviously sort of the one to keep an eye on throughout this. I guess you could call them the underdog of this division, which is why it was particularly exciting to see them come out and actually win Game 1. In any case, that was a great recap. Let's break down the setup and also actually start talking about these factions that have been selected. We see Fakirs, Giants, Halflings, and Mermaids, which is making an interesting color wheel. So we have sandwiched Fakirs with Mermaids on, and we've got Landscape Lakes here, mini expansions on. Any initial impressions here, Jekyll?
Well, I'm pleasantly surprised. Not too surprised, but very pleased to see Giants in. I love Giants on lakes, especially with landscapes.
Mm-hmm.
If they can manage to connect their usual starting placements of East and West, they have a very strong game going. But that is like the big question. If they cannot connect, then they usually, they can't get any network points. And I think they usually need network points on lakes to do well. So we'll see. We'll see how that goes.
Right. Of course, Brown is starting to get some bids now, which is not I guess, a surprise to see. Halflings are one of those factions that aren't sort of traditionally bid a lot at higher level Terra Mystica. They're just not sort of considered an overly strong faction. However, for anyone who's played a lot of lakes, knows that brown is just generally a good color to play on lakes. So if you're even if you're playing halflings, not cultists, the more powerful the two factions. If you're playing halflings instead, there's still lots of incredible stuff that you can do on this map.
Yes, we all hear your cat in the background. My
What am I
question
gonna do,
is
folks?
with
I guess I should just go and let the damn cat out. I'm just gonna sit there and scream all night. We need the kitty. Bowser, I'm gonna try to show everyone Pippa. I don't know that I've actually shown Pippa on stream yet. So, is it hairless? No, Ghostly, it's not hairless. It has short hair. It's a seal point Siamese. So I'm just gonna try to grab Pippa on stream real quick and then throw her the heck out of here.
in the meantime, I would like to make the
Pippa,
point that
meet all your fans and viewers. Here's the kitty. It is Ghostly. This cat is not hairless. Definitely on the shorter side, but anyhow, bye Pippa.
cutie.
Good.
Cool. Is it just the one cat?
Well, I have two cats, but there was only one that was in the office, asleep on my bookshelf, that I only just caught after the stream went live, and thought, just before we were starting this up, Jekyll and I were talking about that, is Pippa going to wake up and start screaming? And of course, she did the moment we went live. Anyhow, we're not here to discuss my collection of cats. What's going on here? So we've got 17 points off of mermaids, and 7 off of halflings. No one's touched the other two factions. What are your thoughts on these bids?
I know mermaids can be pretty tricky on lakes. Like they're kind of like a fringe faction. Like they don't usually get a lot of leech. It can be very tricky for them. Like there's nothing really about the track necessarily that screams mermaids, and there's no ship points scroll. So seems like a lot. But at the same time, I think this is like the game of chicken that we often play, where it's like, I don't want to be the first one. Oh, D-Finesse jumped on giants.
I don't think anyone's too surprised about that. D-Finesse, I always feel like is a player that sometimes to his own demise, but I feel like is more than willing to jump on giants a bit earlier than other players. Sometimes I feel like it's a little bit too early sometimes. I almost feel like it's a bit of a D-Finesse flex to be like, nah, I can play giants here. Like I think giants are actually only 7 points worse than, like, whatever, Darklings or something. So I'm not surprised to see the first bid on giants coming from D-Finesse. It's a little odd to see Fakirs, being a 40 faction. I guess it kind of makes sense in the sandwich, but my gosh, like, landscape Fakirs on lakes. What are your thoughts on that?
I mean, yellow with brown. I mean, or fakir specifically with brown in is really rough. I find, like you're just that fight for that middle region is quite vicious. And my take is that giants will start with big building.
Is that the case? Like, it's going to go priest? Or sorry, it's gonna go spade to mermaids, and then do you think halflings just take a priest here, as opposed to just taking the 2 worker tile? I was trying to figure out if there was any way giants could just get the big building tile in second seat.
I would think that yes, taking the big building would be mostly a denial move rather than what's best for halflings. Like priest is very good here.
And why do you think the priest is so good? Just because, like, send it to fire, take fire 1, and then it's basically 2 workers and 2 coins anyhow? Like,
yeah, there you go.
Yeah. So here's a question, though. Are we apt to see temple giants here? I mean, the track says build a temple and then get out your stronghold. Of course, the problem with giants is it's always a very anti-economic move to do that. I think it's tight. But
Pickles was telling me that very, very recently, just a couple of days ago, D-Finesse had a game that he went Temple Giants in. And he only saw the beginning, and he was watching it like, he kind of checked on it later, very excitedly to see the outcome. And Deepness got last at not a particularly strong table. So
Mm-hmm.
I would think that Deepness after that would not be too keen on going Temple Giants here.
Fair enough. Especially not if they can just get the big building tile, and then they're just, they can pass for 4 points anyhow.
Right. But who is the other player that's been bidding down Giants here?
I
Halai.
guess has it been Halai?
It's like it.
Yeah.
I mean, honestly, if it's me, like with Fakirs, I don't think that's a risk I'm willing to take.
My problem with Fakirs here, other than the obvious, is that they don't get a good pass tile. If they could start on if Worker Power was also in here and they could start on Worker Power and be guaranteed a single spade or anything like that, I don't know. Fakir's at 40 here. I'd be inclined to try. I might knock Halflings down another point or so, but I think it's getting close to Fakir's time, to be honest. Other than the fact that they're just starting with 6 coins, or maybe they take the cult step, but yeah, I don't really know. I guess the thing about Fakirs is if mermaids are starting on the spade, that means that halflings are basically guaranteed double dig, because mermaids are not apt to really want it. Oh, here we go. Mermaids are not apt to want it. Halflings get the double dig, and so single spade probably just lands on Fakirs. Isn't apt to be as much pressure on it.
Single spade. What do they want that for?
It's to get a dwelling down in round 1. So otherwise, what are they doing? I mean, unless I guess they could try to get a workers action. 2 temple.
I don't see, if Giants end up on big building, then nobody else is wanting to the worker power action.
Yeah, fair enough. I guess it also comes down to neighbors, but Fakirs probably gets a neighbor on C7 or C6. Those are both common enough starting spots for mermaids and giants.
Wow, mermaids down to 15. What do you think about that?
I don't know. I mean, yikes. It's a lot to pay for mermaids on lakes. The setup isn't amazing for them. It's fine, but I mean, I guess the track is okay for it. Is sort of generically fine for a lot of factions. It's okay for them. The pass tiles, yeah, not having the shift EP in is kind of annoying. I don't know. I mean, time and time again, we do see the power of just playing a faction on the other end of a color wheel, on the other end of a 3 in a row on the color wheel. There's just very little pressure on the hexes that they're going to want, other than sort of giants sniping hexes here and there. There's effectively no real pressure on blue hexes or green hexes from the board. So,
but I generally feel like with mermaids, color neighbor is slightly less of an issue than with other factions, just because they're often doing early dwelling rushes. They're often grabbing their blues early and then kind of not doing as much dwelling building in the mid to late game. So this effect of having the 3 in the sandwich and mermaids on the other side is not as important, I think, for mermaids specifically,
as it is for other factions, right? As it would be for engineers.
If you can't really bid them down because they're not in the color sandwich as much as, because that effect is just not as pronounced.
Yeah. My intuition is that mermaids are probably bid down a little bit too much, and that giants are possibly bid down a bit too much, maybe by a point. I don't know. I think the auction is pretty close. I mean, I tend to not be a huge Giants fan, so I wouldn't have paid this much for them. But I probably would have paid 35 here for them or something. Intuitively, I think Giants are a few points overbid. Mermaids are a few points overbid. I think Fakirs are good here at 40.
Okay, I kind of like Giants actually.
You would say that you do love Giants. You're a Giants lover, though.
I do love giants,
do love
and
giants.
the landscape is so great.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
I would like to see like some more worker cult rewards in the late game for them, but
Yep.
we'll see.
This is interesting. So we see mermaids take temp ship. So we say mermaids take temp ship, giving halflings spade in third seat. That is interesting. So fakirs are just getting a priest in first seat. I like that.
Also interesting to build on both E4 and H4 if the plan is to take temp ship.
Yeah, it is odd. Although doing a dwelling rush on lakes is kind of tricky because like you kind of it is weird. I mean, I think the thing is you probably want to take your spades from E4 and H4, but you could have just started somewhere else and then built to H4 first action. But frankly, I don't know where your other dwelling goes. Yeah.
Building to C6 will just give power.
It's true. Yeah. How do you feel about a dwelling rush here, though? As opposed to just...
I mean, if you do a dwelling rush in round 1, like, and then you can basically almost not do any dwellings as mermaids until round 4, round 5, and then you don't need Earth 1. You can just do something else. I don't know. Would you take Fire 1 here? I know, like, everybody says mermaids take Fire 1, but like you're not upgrading digs necessarily. There's no dig round. I love digging mermaids, so I would say if there was a dig round, I'd be like, yes, take Fire 1, yes, go digging, yes, do like a dwelling rush, but like nothing really points to that. I think I would like a temple.
Yeah, I would like a temple. I don't know what I would take with a temple. Probably just Fire 1 still out of habit. I mean, I guess the real question is like if you're on, but like. So like my problem, I don't really care so much what they would take with a temple. I just like a temple round 1 here for mermaids, whether it's Fire 1 or an early Earth 1 or something else. I mean, the thing is, if they're doing a dwelling rush, they're obviously not building a temple at all.
Yes. Yeah. This is a very, it's a not an obvious mermaids track. Like there's nothing pointing to you towards like doing anything in particular. So I guess just get what you can and scrounge out points. It will be tricky though with like this, like having been bid down this far.
Yeah, I think if they want to do a dwelling rush here, I think my plan would just be like temple for an early water 1 in round 2, try to get on some coins, which there are 2 nice coins tiles, just like hit a really nice round 3 trading post round, like maybe get out 3 trading posts in round 3, and then just like build back all your dwellings in round 4.
Yeah, that's true. Like the benefits of like building the TPs in the only TP round that there is, like round 3, which is a little bit early. That would justify like an early dwelling rush.
Right. Also, thanks for the follow. I think it was Kolos1, if I'm pronouncing your username correctly. Thanks so much for thanks for the follow. Welcome to the stream.
Yeah, I like giants now. They're going to connect. Seems pretty nice.
So I just want to point out here, like Fakir's just flew to F4. What's that about? Is Deep Finesse concerned that... What is Deep Finesse concerned about? I was going to say that 7 Tuna would have grabbed a priest and used their spade on F4, but Giants took priest. They're not on temp ship. F4 wasn't under any threat. That priest could have been sent to fire for 2 workers and 2 coins, and he could have taken workers to get out a second temple this round. So,
what do you think about Halai's decision to upgrade C7 instead of C3?
Yeah, I mean,
did he first move take priest? So he was last to upgrade?
I think so. I mean, I think the other argument is that Giants are probably just going to be able to town, hopefully, B7, B6, A6, and then they can just make a sanctuary town in the center. You know, if you're building a stronghold in this round and a temple and like a temple in round 3, we'll say, for Giants, your temple is better put in the central peninsula.
Right.
Also,
And
thanks for the follow as well. I was distracted and didn't catch your username, so just say hi in chat, whoever that was who just followed. Sorry, what were you saying, Jekyll?
well, I was wondering with the priest that Halai took, is he putting that to fire or is he upgrading ship?
I mean, I think it's got to be to fire.
I would put it to fire. He could put down 2 dwellings if he upgraded ship, but that A8 hex is not under threat, so can probably wait on that.
Yeah.
I was thinking, my impression of Halai as a player. You can tell me what you think. From the few games that I've watched of him, I think of Halai as being like a big picture. You know, he does like he's known for being like high econ and always taking like all the leech and like he really likes econ favor tiles. But I also think of him as being like a big picture, not necessarily like a very opportunistic player.
Right.
Like, I think there are some players who are like, you know, make sure you upgrade first, get all the leech you can get, put yourself in a position to like take advantage of like whatever comes to you. There are certain players in our community that are very well known for that style of play. And I think Halai is somebody who thinks like more like he has a game plan. He has like this thing that he has in mind. And so sometimes he's willing to do like moves that might be slightly inefficient. Like, you know, somebody might say like maybe he'd get that priest anyway if he upgraded first and he'd get more leech and all that.
Right,
But
right.
I think he's like willing to do like a move that might not be like, you know, pushing like as far as like what you can really get, but
Yep.
just trying to make sure that he like gets his game plan done.
Yeah, that's interesting. So what do you think Deep Finesse is thinking about right now? I still, ignoring for a second everything I said about Fakir's getting single spade in round 1, the more I thought about their opening, especially when they got all that priest, just like setting that priest off to fire, taking an econ favor and Earth 1 in round 1 with the worker's action, just seemed very good to me. And now we see Deep Finesse with a single temple, air 2, flew and got down a dwelling, and it was just a pass onto call coins.
And he's taken air 2 as his starting favor.
And he has the power for double dig next round, but can't double dig. Nowhere to double. Oh, no, wait, you can't. So G2, what am I talking about? Yeah, G2 and a flight somewhere. That's what it is. So presumably, Deep Finesse is passed for double dig, and we'll take G2 and then can fly to E5, F6, G4. Yeah, F6 would allow for 3 dwellings out.
I was also going to say about Deep Finesse, like my impression of him as a player is he really likes Earth 1. He's like, I think one of the few players that takes it, like he makes sure he gets Earth 1. So yeah, I'm slightly surprised by the air 2 take. Like, I think of my impression of him is that like he's looking for the faction that can get like his econ rolling, you know, make sure like that his econ doesn't suffer from taking Earth 1.
Yep.
He finds a way usually. We'll see if maybe he's gonna just gun for Earth 1 again anyway.
So what are your thoughts on this Mermaids Open now? Folks in chat have been talking about it a little bit earlier up. Like the temp ship was just used to get some range and sort of like secure some important hexes, but like, yeah, I'm not sure how I feel about this. Like just giving up a spade so that you can do this. I don't know. What are
Yeah,
your thoughts?
especially because like if he had started c6, he can still dig with the spade. With the dig scroll, he could have dug d6, and then again h4 would just sit there. It would just sit there like for a very long time.
Mm-hmm. So I guess this allows him to get down one more dwelling this round, because with a spade, unless he started on h4, dug h3 and h2, like that's the only path to get down Temple 3 dwelling on a single spade with as mermaids here, I believe. So I guess the temp ship line was just a fairly costly way to sort of, I don't know, get onto a different combination of hexes and to end Temple 3 dwelling. But
Yeah, and
I
now
don't know.
instead halflings has gone down 3 new dwellings, and he'll wait. Did he take? He must have taken workers.
Who?
Halflings must have taken single dig and workers.
Yeah. I don't really get the workers there.
Well, he was able to put down 1 extra dwelling, right? Because he dug
Oh, I
B4,
see.
A5, and then he got down
Of
A4. So he
course.
will have an extra dwelling.
Oh,
or
I
worker
see, of
left
course,
over.
because the 2 spades he took opened up a brown. Yeah, so he needed a 1 extra worker and took 2. Seems strong from halflings. Temple, econ favor, bunch of dwellings down.
Yeah, he got a lot of leech round 1.
Gets to pass for something good. There's some options here that are all, I think, pretty fine.
All right, so the Priest of Fire would have been highly coveted and is already gone, of course.
Yeah. So Halai got priest and coins in round 1. Sent the priest to fire. Started on the big building tile. Passes for another priest. Interesting.
He probably wants to upgrade ship.
Yeah, I guess, yeah, that makes sense. Got a coins action, so as opposed to doing temp ship, just take a priest and use the coins you got to get a permanent ship. It'd be interesting to see what Halai upgrades. Or sorry, what he digs next round. Whether it's just B6, or whether he's going to upgrade ship and try to do something else.
He has 4 workers. Yeah, I would think he digs C2 and gets down A3, A8.
Right. Just sort of assumes that B6 isn't under pressure by mermaids.
Hmm.
I don't know.
Yeah, I don't see why mermaid, like they have all those open hexes.
Yep, it's true. So I guess Deep Finesse could take a priest here. Is that what he's trying to consider? Does he have enough power if he wanted for... No, not quite enough. I think it just has to be double dig right now.
Yeah, I mean, you mentioned he might dig G2.
Mm-hmm.
I guess that just gets down like another dwelling, but it's not, doesn't help him get any more yellows, is the thing.
Yeah. Yeah, so I don't know. Is he considering a priest and single spade so he can get down 2 dwellings, but like on E5 and G6? I don't know. Oh, interesting. He's just going for a second temple? Not really sure I understand that from D-Finesse, but
I guess he really wants Earth 1.
I guess, but just build it. I mean, I don't know. I mean, not
Next
that.
round?
Yeah, build it next round, get 3 points, and also just like spread out a bit before you build up. I kind of feel
Looks
like
like
double
Hol-
temple round 1, or just temple, get out a bunch of dwellings, and then temple for like water 1 or earth 1 in round 3. Is like those would have been the more like common sort of progressions I would have expected, but
Yeah, well,
I don't know.
I don't know. It's kind of tricky for fakirs. Like they're not going to do well on cults, network. They are often pretty strong on network on this map. But again, they're color sandwiched, so like you can't really expect a lot of network points. So like maybe he's just thinking that Earth 1 is necessary. And we see Halai upgrading. And like last game, if you recall, Halai sanctuaried like a round earlier than expected. Remember, like round 3 was Sanctuary Stronghold round, and he upgraded in round 2 because he really wanted Earth 1, and that denied Acolytes, which
Right.
really hurt them. It really set them back. So here's Halai making the push for a temple.
Do we need to talk about the sanctuary? We don't really need to talk about it that much.
The Halfling Sanctuary?
Yeah, I've tortured people with talking about sanctuaries a little bit too much, probably, but
You just hate them specifically for
I
halflings, or
just in general, they're just bit overpriced temples that don't do anything, and this is a no utility sanctuary. I get it's 5 points, and you get the pass tile for 4, so it's a 9-point sanctuary, and it's getting Earth 1, but it just kind of defeats the point of the econ favor.
He's on the stronghold tile. No, that's totally justified.
Totally justified?
Totally justified. That's a 9-point sanctuary for Earth 1 when like it looks like everybody's making the push for Earth 1.
But is it? I think it's just almost as many points and more economic to just take Earth 1 in round 1, because he paid, 6 points for 3 coins in round 1. Could have just taken Earth 1. Instead, he paid 6 points for 3 coins in round 1, just to then convert 4 workers and 8 coins into 9 points. Like it's sort of the inconsistency. Anyhow. Whoa!
Did you see that?
Oh, okay. Okay.
You want to do that spiel again?
Does Weber know how many 9 is? Alright, that's a solid burn. I do. AJ, do you know how many resources 4 workers and 6 coins in round 2 is? It's like a lot. I guess it's the argument. Like, I would pay 9 points in round 2 for 4 workers and 6 coins.
For me, the Halflings Sanctuary is more justified than the Mermaids one.
2 coins cheaper, although arguably the Mermaids one will have utility and could allow them to town up next round. Not on the big building tile right now, but that's at least 10 Canadian points. 4 fewer points and 2 coins more. Sort of 4 fewer points more. It depends, right? Like, if he passes on to the big building tile, like, just because halflings happen to be on it now, like, they both have equal... Like, they could both get that tile later on in the game now for 4 points each. Like, yes, halflings are doing that now, but mermaids could do it 2 rounds from now or next round, so...
It's very interesting. Halai put his second priest to fire.
Interesting.
Yeah, this actually reminds me of a 2P game I saw of his. He played against Simon B, where he was Yetis and there was a dig round and he just put like bam, 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 like 4 priests to like the fire or air, one of the worker reward cults, instead of
Right.
like in 2P, like, those 3 spots are really valuable. So
yeah, It is something that I started to
I
notice, like I notice in like high level Terra Mystica, and like, or maybe it was also just something that like started to develop over time, but where like the trend kind of got away from just like see a 3 spot, take a 3 spot to just like focus fire one cult. And this just seems like Deep Finesse would do that. Like, it just seems like a thing I see a lot of very solid players do. Is just like, Halai's just going to send another priest to fire and get 8 power, at some point, and then just win fire. And then that's,
Okay. I mean, besides like the fact that he's going to win fire, like basically that priest scroll that he just took, but right, he took this priest scroll for this. So
yes,
that scroll was a 2 power, 1 worker scroll,
it's
which
true.
is
But I mean, I guess the options weren't great. Right? Because the coins weren't available. If he's going this line, it looks like he's just building a temple. Well, okay, he's got Earth 1 blocked. But anyhow, he's building a temple presumably this round, I guess, and then getting down a landscape or something. The dwelling tile isn't worth that many points.
oh, I see, yeah.
Mind you, I probably would have just passed onto the dwelling tile, and just got no dwelling, scored on them, and then templed in round 3 for water 1 or something. But yeah, if you're gonna do
I
the
mean,
tall
it's
line, then the dwelling scroll is not that great, and temp ship is, well, it's good if you have a plan for it, but.
yeah, it's I think that I'm sure he did not expect Earth One to get rushed like this by all 3 other factions. So
No.
his temple line, I can see the point of it. So what's he gonna do? Just take water 1? Bless you.
I guess that trading post is really bad right now. Like, you have to just commit to getting priest production. That's the value here, right? It's a big swing in your economy to spend 4 workers. Now, mind you, he couldn't use all of those workers to create dwellings, but he could have done 3 of them. Oh, he's just going dwellings now. Okay.
He's saying that was a sunk cost.
I guess. Yeah, I don't know. I think I probably still would have gone water 1 here with a trading post up. I don't know. Is temple better than trading post 2 dwelling? I don't know. Probably not. Probably right, bulky. Yeah. Maybe it is sunk cost fallacy. Maybe it is worth it if you get Earth 1 and it's no longer worth
I mean,
it.
at this point, like the priest that he would get, right, from building this temple round 2, what's he going to do with it? Like increase ship? That would be fine. Like I don't think he's going to be contesting cults beyond fire.
What are you
So
saying?
like
Like, what's the value of the priests? Of, like, building a temple in round 2 for priests?
yeah, like we're comparing temple versus like TP and 2 dwellings. Like
Yeah.
that temple for that priest is not quite as valuable.
No, it's
I
true.
think
It's
as
a
the 2
very expensive
workers.
priest. And I earlier on, I would have said that the cults. I thought the cults were going to be a little bit more wide open here. Fakirs don't tend to play culty. Halflings want a lot of tech upgrades. I was seeing mermaids do a dwelling rush, and so I kind of thought like, the cults were going to be a bit more wide open. But people have just mermaids did end up building a temple, and we have seen a bit more pressure on the cults than I'd initially expected. But
Right.
so yeah,
Given that mermaids, their priests aren't going to be really used for upgrading ship or
that's right. Yeah.
upgrading digs, so they're probably going to try to go more culty.
Yep. Yeah, I think so. Um,
But yeah, I think I would have liked to see like how that round 1 dwelling rush into round 3 TPs would have worked out. That would have been pretty cool.
sorry, say that again.
Like the line that we were talking about, the dwelling rush in round 1 going
Mhm.
into round 3 TPs followed by like 2 more dwelling rounds, like I think that would have worked very nicely.
Yep.
Also.
I think so. Okay, cool.
Oh, interesting. Will Halai early? I guess he'll early town. 2 key?
Well, I mean, presumably this is a temple for water 1 and then a town this round.
Mm-hmm.
Is it 2 key? I don't know.
Could take a priest town, upgrade ship. He has a lot of coins.
It's true. It's true. What are your thoughts on that?
What is your
Sorry, go ahead.
I was gonna ask, what is your take on like early priest towns?
It seems like I feel like an early town, like to really make it worth it, you want to take a lot of econ. So I would be tempted to just take a ship town. Even though are the priests super worth it here? Like, I don't know. I just feel like you want to get as much econ as you can. I would be tempted to like take a 2 key town, ship town, or just a coin town.
I think I would 2 key town if I'm giants here. Yeah.
The cult rewards aren't great for giants, mind you, here. Like, a 2 key town allows them to trade a priest for a priest. Like, that's pretty much it. They get the power reward, but they're gonna, like, overproduce that because they're down to 5 tokens and they're giants that already generate a ton of power. Like, yeah. Just going back to this Fakir's dig, what were your thoughts on this double dig on H5?
I mean, it's a good town spot. I'm not seeing like other town spots really, right? Like with giants taking like the usual northeast Akira's town spot.
Yeah.
He's gonna need a town somewhere.
Yeah, fair enough. Yeah.
Why you don't like it? It's too inefficient.
Well, I don't know. Again, I just have like it just feels like double digging a single hex this early in the game. Like I just have a general. It's like it's in the same bin as sanctuaries. Like I don't want to build spend a lot of resources on not that much stuff. I want to spend them on more stuff. I want to get more dwellings down. So it just seems like it's very expensive to double dig 1 hex. That could have been 2 hexes.
So you're like the opposite of what like the kind of player that I was talking about earlier. Like not opportunistic, right? Like not you don't want to sacrifice efficiency for like the big picture long-term plan. That's what I'm gathering. Would you say that's accurate?
If I can put off inefficiencies, I will. I think. Like I guess. I don't know. I might not be answering your question very well. I would just like put off expensive digs and tall buildings until the end of the game. If I'm like a standard temple faction. Like I don't know. I guess like basically all I want to do in the first couple rounds of TM is just like get as many dwellings out as I can. Basically, kind of regardless of what the track says. Like the only good opening is Temple 7 dwellings. It's like how quickly can you get to Temple 7 dwellings if you're a temple faction? I realize that's obviously like a little bit different. If you're gears, you're double templing, like etc. But it's going to be a bit slower when you have other priorities. But like generally, it's just like how can I get out as many dwellings as quickly as possible. But I mean, for Kiers, it does make sense. Like you have to prioritize carving out towns, especially in this setup, right? Like Fakirs are sandwiched, and I have been looking at the board since you pointed it out, and you're right. Like there aren't a bunch of great town spots just jumping off the page here. Like
right. Like he could go for the E6, F6, but there's no neighbors there. I don't see when he's going to get neighbors.
Yeah. So I guess it means building a sanctuary in F4 out of round, right? Like not building it in round 6, which is again very expensive.
True,
so you get on the big building tile, you build a
is...
sanctuary out of round and early on F4 for water 1, then you build tall for a town. Like that's just that's a very expensive in a lot of different ways, economically, points wise. Like that's just, there's a lot committed to that town, and maybe that ship town or that range town is just that worth it here. I mean, I certainly trust Deep Finesse's judgment. It's just it's counterintuitive, I guess.
Right. At the same time, like he's done reaching like the yellows that he can reach. So what's he going to do in the next
Yeah, it's true.
2 dwelling rounds?
Yeah, it's true.
The plus side, of course, though, is that those yellows do seem fairly safe. You think?
I think so, yeah.
Like brown hasn't made a very big push for like spreading out much. Yeah, I think like Deep Finesse is just leaving F6 open for brown. They'll come down. They'll do their town that they like in the east.
Yeah.
And then like he'll leave 7-2 and I will just leave all those other yellows alone.
Right.
Hopefully.
Oh, Zit Cobb points out an interesting point that there's only one ship town left, and that's because Halai did town up on B7 and did take a ship town. Good man. Weber 1, Jekyll 0. No, I'm just joking. But
he needs a range increase. Rafa seems to not think that he needs to increase range. That there's so many yellows that are 2 range away. I would for sure think he would want some range. And he doesn't want to build a stronghold, I would think.
I mean, that's what Fruity Harris is saying here, right? Like Stronghold in round 6 could do it. Is that what you're getting at, Rafa? You don't. Rafa, is your argument that he doesn't need a range increase because he can just skip the dwelling rounds, build a stronghold in round 6, and then all of his the majority of the yellows will still be sitting there, and he can just build them then? But he also has a lot of digs, is the reason why he took Air 2. Yeah, he took Air 2, but I mean, Air 2 isn't enough power to like prevent you from needing to reach natural yellows. It's half a single spade around if you get the power action. Like, I don't know. I think you need Air 2 and a Leech and a range town. Like, I think you just need all that stuff.
Yeah, especially because I don't see any single dig that allows him another jump rather than like, yes, I6 would let him get another yellow, but it wouldn't be a jump yellow, it would just be a regular old build.
Right. I mean, I guess he can jump to he can spade I5 and then jump to I7 or something, but
oh yeah. All right, I take that back. You're right.
So mermaids are towning up. I wanted to talk about this at the beginning of the round, but we got sidetracked into other things. I'm back.
Well, this is a 2-key town that makes tons of sense.
Yes. So Mermaid Sanctuary, I think, makes more sense than the Halfling Sanctuary. I'm back on that track for this reason. Especially, yeah, an early town here for mermaids. Like an early town is always always nice, right? Just get early resources, of course. But this early 2-key town, like this is nice for mermaids, right? Like dominating the cults comes with an air spade, right?
But talk about inefficiencies, like that dig that he did in round 1 is still sitting there next to another blue. So there's 2 blues just.
It's true.
Yeah.
Open blues that have not been built on that could have been generating a worker around is pretty rough. Hopefully he can build on 1 this round. And with all that power, I mean, true. I don't know. You could probably build both this round if you really wanted to, but
Yeah, I would build the one.
I'd build the one. I think you'd have to burn power in a funny way to get the second one out, and it's not really worth it.
Which doesn't make tons of sense with 2 dwelling rounds coming.
Nah, and you'll just pass on the big building tile. You're gonna pass on the big building tile anyhow. So someone said a moment ago that this was between... Who made the first prediction here? This game is going to be between Deep Finesse versus Halai. Interesting. I like Halai's game. I don't love Deep Finesse's game.
I mean, Deep
I
Finesse
like
is
Mermaid's
definitely
game.
gearing up for like winning network, getting a lot of jumps like late game. He's going to have a big points lead. He has Earth 1.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think Mermaids paid a little too much for this to be their game plan, in my opinion.
Yeah, it's not super strong. Yeah, it's the 2-key town here is nice though.
Mm-hmm.
Like Mermaids now have.
Nice. It came with a dig.
It came with a dig. They have 2 open blues. A ship upgrade gets them a 3rd blue. Like I think Mermaids' economy is just like gonna be in a really good spot here. Like they're gonna be able to get 3 dwellings down this round if they want. They've got power.
Have they landed on the dwelling scroll yet?
No. And they are behind it. So they might be able to.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Their economy is pretty nicely balanced with the 2 TPs, and they'll have a bunch of dwellings.
Yep.
Get another town. Have a bunch of cults.
So what's Deep Finesse thinking about here? Coins, apparently. Thanks, George. Appreciate you pointing out when Jekyll does that. Yeah, so we're now seeing like it's in round 4. We're now seeing like the benefits of Halai's upgrade in round 1 on C7. Like this is pretty clean. Halai will probably can just sanctuary in like at the end of the game in C3 and town up in the center without a bridge, which is pretty nice. Halai probably just gets 3 towns this game, eh?
Where's his 3rd town?
D2 stuff to G1 or something. Like it's just such a nice stretch there because like we can expect Fakirs on E2, which is just adjacency on all those like D2, D3, E1 hexes.
Okay.
I think there's a town there. There's also those like awkward like reds at the edge of the board that sometimes people try to town around. It can be a little tricky, but like getting D8, E8, and then the 2 reds with a neighbor on C8.
Did
like
you call that awkward? That's beautiful.
Yeah,
I love that town spot.
I call it awkward because I just find it's like, well, it's on the edge of the board and it can be hard to get to, and people do cut stuff off. I find it can get maybe not here. I guess Giants just have tempo and all that stuff, but it does sometimes get cut off. It's probably fine here. Giants just need to dig D8, build on D9, and then wait for Fakirs, and then they're fine. Halflings are nowhere in this, like on F6 pushing through or anything.
Yeah, what have halflings been
doing? They built another temple. They took an early copy of Water 1. This round they secured A7. They're doing shipping stuff.
Yeah, halflings and giants both would really, and mermaids, of course, would really like ship scroll here.
Yeah, absolutely. So the question I have is, do we see halflings go to 3 ship here? Do they go to 3 ship, which is a pretty huge investment of coins, but that allows them to get to, like, I guess just C1. It's not actually that great. So I guess they probably don't. They just start advancing their digs and just chill at 2 ship. Wow, here comes a sanctuary. An out of track round four sanctuary to get fire 2 for probably your only town. Just to get a range town, yeah. That's it's an expensive
You
range
hate
town.
that?
Well, I do. It's probably necessary. Like, I hate that this is probably the. I mean, it doesn't feel very good, right? Like,
No, it doesn't
you
feel
know,
good doing those kinds of moves either.
it's like paying for car insurance. Like, you need to do it, but like, it doesn't feel good. There's so many metaphors I could have chosen there. I don't know why I went car insurance, but
Yeah, I mean, he's just gonna hit all those yellows during the dwelling rounds and just win that work.
yeah.
That
So
fire too is unfortunate.
Fruity Harris makes comments that I wanted to make, but was too intimidated to do so with this audience because I feel like I would get eaten alive. But, you know, once we factored all that in, an out-of-round sanctuary not on the big building tile, and a trading post without water 1 out of round just for fire 2, just, like, does that not just all equal a stronghold is better? Like, that was the other thing that I was thinking about. That was the other half of the sentence when you said you don't like that, Aaron, right? That sequence of events. It's like what I was really thinking was like, doesn't all of that just kind of add up to like, just build a stronghold?
But when? He
What
needs that
now?
range like yesterday.
Yeah, but stronghold just gives you the range.
Yeah, but how? When would he build that? Next round?
Or just with those same resources. This round?
Oh,
Like,
I
I don't know,
see. Oh, I
whenever
see.
he,
Like,
like,
don't town. Duh. Okay, yeah, that makes sense.
as opposed
No,
to, because
okay.
like a trading post in a sanctuary, like, I guess it is 4 coins more, and that isn't nothing, but it's landscape fakirs, he has some
He has the
coins.
coins.
Like, he passed onto the coin tile. Like, uh, it is expensive, Nico, but it's also just, it provides the immediate range.
Yeah.
It
No, you're right. You're right. Because then he could sanctuary round 6. He could sanctuary for like air 1 or something a little more
air
useful.
1 and an 8-pointer, right? Like, that's what your stronghold does, right?
Mhm.
Because range is even more expensive for fakirs, right? If you take a ship town, you're taking a very low VP town, but you at least get a couple trickle of points going up the ship track. But fakirs don't even get that. It's not even a 6-point town. It's literally just the 4 points, right? And so the stronghold does allow you to take a different favor tile and a better town.
I'm with you there. I actually do really like that stronghold. That would have been nice.
The other thing it allows you
The
to do,
trade-offs are
the other thing a stronghold allows you to do is not double dig a single hex in round 3 or something. Could have just built a
and get no
stronghold on,
town.
like, what? Like on H5. Was H5 under threat by anyone? Like, you could have just dug 2 random hexes, built 2 dwellings, had better worker production, and then gone stronghold.
And no town ever?
Well, or then double dig H5 later. Or double dig something else for an awkward town later. But put off the awkward.
I'm okay with the double dig,
You're okay with
to
the
be
double
honest.
dig.
I'm fine with that. I would have liked the
Says the
stronghold.
Veterans Giants player. I guess that's the thing. I don't know. I just, yeah. Sorry, I'm just trying to catch up on chat here. Okay, there's math going on that I can't follow.
Okay. I mean, the thing about the double dig is like, you're saying that he could have just dug 2 hexes
Yeah.
instead. But it's always going to have to be like one of them is going to have to be neighboring. Which, like, where was that going to be?
I don't know. You just dig some random nonsensical stuff, just for worker production. It's just like it's just a hex that you take to have a hex. You know,
but
like
fakirs don't really have another single dig neighboring yellow that he had already had.
At that moment, maybe you're right, but I just mean like I don't know. It could have been from G6. It could just like F6 and I5. Like just dig a random thing and then hop somewhere, get down 2 dwellings. Maybe at that point in time there wasn't an opportunity to do that, and fair enough. I can't really remember, but
Yeah.
I mean, I do have a
frankly,
tendency to just dig random things to get dwellings, and then in round 4 be like, how do I make towns out of this absolute mess, right? Like, but, yeah. What else has happened other than the Fakir stuff? Well, let me ask you this: whose position do you actually like here? Like, just sort of looking at the entire board state now, a lot's happened. Yeah, whose position do you like here?
I guess Hawaii. I think his game plan going forward looks very clean. Nothing's going to really get in his way.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe D Finesse decides to mess with him a little and dig that red G1. Maybe.
Giants on the spade tile. Love to see it.
He's gonna put his landscape down.
Yeah, I agree, Rafa. Giants are gonna make another town in the west. Actually, they'll have adjacency on 3 of those hexes. It's just like E1, F1, G1. Adjacency on 3. That's really clean. Hawaii has great adjacency this game. It's like all his hexes almost will have neighbors. It's amazing.
I mean, he only has 2 TPs left, so he's gonna have to build a temple and a sanctuary.
It's true. Yeah, and then what is that third favor for? You might as well take fire. Like, yeah. Is there a third favor that's that much better than fire 2?
Well, especially with fire.
Exactly. So it probably is just fire 2, air 1, and then overtowning on your fire 2 or something. But or if you can just afford all the buildings and it's just like fire 3 or something. But yeah, I guess it's just a question of our Giants.
Yeah, to go back to the Fakir's stronghold, like the other thing, that fire 2 is just extra painful because he's going to have to build that TP anyway, like really soon.
Yeah. He is. Yeah, he just bought a range town. That's all that favorite tile was. It's just buying a range town. Four towns, Rafa.
For Giants.
Well, I guess are you trying to talk about dig advances with the landscape, D88, E1, F1, fire 2. Yikes. I mean, it's like a 17 structure game. I don't know.
That seems like a lot.
Seems
I
like a
don't-
lot.
Especially because like halflings are going to make their way over to E8 this round.
Yeah, probably. Okay. How are we feeling about Mermaid's position here? Obviously, nice cults.
I mean, kind of what we expected. Like, they've got like their center town, but this next town, like in the southwest, is like such an unexciting town.
Yeah.
And then like their blues are their giants are going to take E1, so that D1 blue is gone. They're going to have to double dig H7 for like the other blues. It's
Well, I wasn't paying too close attention to the tempo stuff here, but like mermaids do have 2 ship, and it is a dwelling round. Did mermaids upgrade ship in their last move? Does anyone in chat remember? If not, why didn't they hard dig E1? Because I think if Halai does not take E1 right now, I dig it as mermaids.
how I will take it.
Probably. Because otherwise mermaids can just hard dig that, get down 3 dwellings and a trading post this round. Oh, okay. Interesting. So Halai wants to town in the east. Why is that better? Isn't it riskier?
I'm guessing he's not trying to town there.
Well,
I mean, right? If you wanted to town, would you put your landscape on D8?
I want well, I don't
He
know.
probably just wants that red D9. Oh gosh, actually, I don't know.
But I think doesn't Dongahote just hard dig E1 right now? I mean, unless I'm missing something, is there a reason? Well, I guess the last Priest of Fire looks pretty nice, and then you just leave Giants alone. I think I like the last Priest of Fire for Mermaids here actually a lot. I don't know. That's probably
Even though Halai is most likely going to take Fire 2.
Fire 2. Yeah, it's true. I don't know.
Yeah, no, he's on Dwelling Scroll. He really would like to get all these dwellings out, I would think.
Yeah, that's. What do you mean, as opposed to what?
Like instead of Fire, the Priest of Fire, I would take E1.
Yeah. I mean, I think if he doesn't take E1 and Giants take it, then he just hard digs I1, builds a dwelling, and I3 foregoes the trading post. Like or he does E1, D1, I3, and then ends with a TP. I think either way, it's like 7 dwellings on the board. It's just the difference of the trading post. Sorry, folks, I'm not entirely sure what just happened there. The board just got really weird. So everyone's seeing some nonsense on stream right now. I'm just gonna refresh. All right. Not sure what that was.
That was a cancel. A cancel.
Oh, it was a
I
move
think it was
cancel.
Priest of Fire.
Oh, I see. Okay. 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 don't think there's any way I can avoid that. What do folks think of the overlay, by the way? Any feedback? Ron Smile messaged me to tell me to move the favor tiles up. Any other thoughts? It's blue. Oh yeah, thank you, Zach. Yeah, it has like a gradient thing. I don't know. You have no idea how much time I spent moving all of these things around and playing with a JSON file to get all this to work. But anyhow, as always, if you have any feedback about any of the production aspects of the stream, don't hesitate to let me know in chat or send me a message on Discord.
So I just kind of assumed fakirs were going to win network. Certainly looks like Giants are making a strong push for that also.
Yeah, well, Giants are going to hit all of their natural reds except for I5, probably. Which is usually a good recipe for, like, network. Yes, Fruity Harris. Yeah, Giants can definitely do a 2-worker dig, or right now with that spade tile to dig something, or they can advance digs. So you do sometimes see Giants on that spade tile later on in the game. If they were planning on doing a double hard dig, which sometimes you just want to do for network, town purposes, whatever, the spade tile can just be evaluated at 3 workers like any other faction, or if you're advancing digs, it's a worker and a few coins, that kind of thing. That's right. X-Line, if I'm pronouncing your name right. The cult spade ×1 is wasted on Giants. Yeah, I think BGA prompts you to decline the spade or something rude, like forces you to not take it. But yeah. So you like Giants? So you said you like Giants here, Jekyll. In first place. Is that correct?
Yeah, I really do like Giants.
All right, who's playing for second here?
I think it is between Finesse and Giants. Giants will get one more town. They're getting a lot of network. They'll win fire.
You think they'll win fire?
I do think so. They have water 1. They'll have air 1, right?
Yep. They'll presumably take Air 1 next round on a Sanctuary. 2 towns coming in. Defense has power.
What will Defense do?
Has power for spades here. With range. So interesting.
Defense wants to get down at least 4 more.
Okay, I was wondering if Defense was going to try to go for another town.
Okay.
That has
Then
to be
the
what
fire
this
two
is.
Makes a lot more sense.
There's a yeah. So it's a future H7 dig to make the fire 2 worth it. Yeah, with a trading post on G7. That makes a lot of sense.
It's pretty risky though with halflings. I think he's making the gamble that halflings have like a lot to do still.
Yeah.
Like, they want a whole nother town.
Exactly. Halflings aren't their economy isn't booming exactly, right? And if they want a town in the east, they have a double dig on F8. They need a lot of structures. Especially with E8 gone. If halflings want a town around there, it's going to be some expensive digs for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Looks like another undo.
Yeah, like I think I would have waited until halflings dug F8 to do E8. just to make sure you get that neighbor, especially since he put the landscape on D8, so he needs like neighbors if he's going to town here.
Right.
What did he do instead?
Advanced on the exchange track. I mean, 7 Tuna has tempo now on putting a worker into F9. But I guess right, like it was more efficient for Giants to advance their digs and then use their spade. Like it's better by a worker.
So he needs 6 workers for that.
Okay. Yeah, this makes sense from 7 Tuna. Yeah. Knowing full well that he doesn't really have the resources to dig F9 away from Giants and secure it this round, like he might as well. Giants sort of won that race and are going to take E8, so you might as well just get the leech from it. I think that's what this is. I guess just digging F8 there would have done the same thing. I don't know.
Well, now he gets access to B8.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, B8.
Right. Interesting.
All right, so halflings and giants will just be all cozy and partners in the east.
Mm-hmm. Okay, and there is E1 finally taken. Wow. That happened a lot later than I expected it would. If that was going to happen from mermaids, I just would have thought it would have been... Yeah, it would have happened sooner.
Um, 7 Tuna. I wonder if he considered slow playing, or is that just that battle he was going to lose anyway?
Slow play for...
I mean, there's only 2 pass scrolls.
Right. And
he just did a triple dig in 1 move.
Right, and he's behind mermaids. So is that what you're thinking? Like that 7 Tuna probably should have slow played to be able to pass for mermaid's tile?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, 7 Tuna did just get the workers action. So that will help them slow play.
Oh, okay.
I mean, there's also an argument that mermaids, are they fighting for a pass tile, or are they kind of done? No, I guess they build another dwelling. They build a dwelling here. It's just, sometimes you have to be careful with slow playing, because like it can blow up on you if you like slow play, but then the person passes quicker than you thought they would, and then you don't have your stuff done. So I think this worked out really well for 7 Tuna to just secure the hex that they wanted, get the free leech from Giants, took a worker's action, and now they're just going to be able to presumably
build another worker dwelling.
Yeah, single dig. Oh yeah, build a dwelling. Yeah, this is nice, and then they can just like dig up to twice if they need to. I guess mermaids can still outstall them, but I don't know.
Yeah. Right, but it's not like mermaids are ever going to get the
big building.
Oh, I didn't. Yes, I didn't realize that D-Finesse had already passed.
Yeah. Yeah, mermaids aren't getting the big building tile. As soon as halflings pass for it, giants would just take it. So I think mermaids don't want to like take a priest and like use their resources on stuff that they are inefficient. So like they should just possibly just pass for 7 coins.
So D-Finesse really needs double dig, but he has no dwellings left on his board.
Sorry, say that again.
He's going to need like D-Finesse Can't take double dig first move
Right. What did
because he
he
has no dwellings.
do with that final dwelling? Oh, he built the trading post on
He built
G6, which
it.
gave him a dwelling to like secure the second dig, like on I6 or whatever.
Mhm.
Yeah, it is awkward, especially with shipping halflings. He has the power for double dig, as you say. He can't really turn H7 to yellow and leave it in front of halflings. So he's gonna have to like build a trading post somewhere and then come back and take it. Which I mean is fine.
I wonder what made Halai go for the east town over the west town.
Yeah, I don't really know. I'm not.
Was it like maybe it was a leech thing? Like if he leaves green open for mermaids, like he'll get 2 free leech?
Maybe. I guess. I don't know. Yeah, I'm not really sure what that was about. I mean, I think they're
I
kind
guess he
of
can
comparable.
still.
It's just the East town seemed a little bit riskier. It turned out fine. So in this state, I don't think there's that much difference.
You know
But
what it is? I think that he can still reach G1 with like a dig on F2.
yeah,
Whereas like he wouldn't be able to reach those reds in the west without like
that's a
digging
good
all of
point.
those that
You
he
have
dug.
you have to do both of the digs to get those 2 hexes. So then you just have 4. You have dwellings on 4 hexes already. Yeah, that's a good point. But again, I don't know. Like I guess I wasn't counting Giants' resources that closely. Maybe it just came down to resources. But if you're gonna do a single dig on F2 to open up G1, like why not just take E1? But maybe you just didn't have the juice to do
All of that previous round.
yeah, and secure F9 from halflings and all that kind of stuff. So that must have been what it was. Yeah, and of course, when you're casting a game, we're doing our best to sort of like give people an overview of what we see with 4 factions. I mean, any of these players, like these are all very, very, very strong players. A player like Halai is spending his entire game mainly just thinking about all the math behind his one faction. So he's worked out all these little nuanced arguments back and forth. And so, sometimes I just sort of like turn it over to the players and just say like I'm not going to sit here and try to pick apart all 4 of these games and try to figure out where all these decisions came from, but just to sort of trust that the players have are making those correct calls. There's often a reason behind these decisions, even if sometimes I find on the surface level they can seem a little bit vague or unclear.
It looks like Don Quixote will win this slow play.
Yeah. Which I think, I mean, 4 points is. Oh no! What am I talking about? This is totally worth it because, sorry, this is totally worthwhile slow playing. I was thinking this just was a 4-point tile, and that mainly it was just an expensive block on the dwelling pass tile from halflings. But of course, he's just building a stronghold next round, and so yeah, doing this stuff to slow play makes a lot of sense. We also did see the priest bump on fire, so converted a priest into a bump in 4 power on the fire cult. Means that he could just win fire, right? Like even with a fire 2 giants, right? Like giants could snipe it with a quick fire 2 in a cult town, I suppose, but like
I mean, isn't this last priest just also going to fire?
maybe it's just a fire bump just to secure tempo there. Yeah, fair enough. And then he'll have 2 priests in the last round to lock up some of these positions and 3 keys. So we might just see, I guess, mermaids winning 3 cults here. With a 9-point pass tile in the last round. I mean, the The problem with Mermaid's game is they're just 30 points. They're 30 points behind Fakirs, 20 behind Halflings. But yeah, not sure if that's enough to catch up. You know, a town, an 8-point pass tile, a stronghold incoming that gives them a ship advance, 3 cults.
What just happened? Who did that H7 dig?
What did happen here?
Or D finesse. Oh yeah, halflings did it.
Just before they passed? Did we just miss that in some of the slow playing? Was that was that a single dig? As he delays moves last round. Thanks, Rafa. I didn't catch that. Okay. That's I mean,
that's sad.
I think D finesse still takes it, right?
Yeah.
Just triple digs here for a town.
Yeah, there's actually like all the good towns still left. I don't know what else he's doing.
Took a priest.
2 TPs.
Wow. Okay, so the town dreams are gone, and Deep Finesse took a priest action with his power. Which means he's not going to be triple digging that hex. Unless he gets a ton of leech.
He needs to build both TPs and 2 more dwellings in order to get down to 3 structures.
Right, which doesn't leave him
So he is
enough workers for a hard dig. Yeah, no, I know Ghosty, he doesn't have yeah, he didn't have any dwellings to dig it right then and there. I guess I should have clarified. What I was expecting was just to see a snap TP build on, like, G2, I suppose. Or H1 or something. To put him in a position to take it. That's also quite kind to mermaids, isn't it? I mean, I guess mermaids... Yeah.
Oh.
Isn't that very kind to mermaids?
Yes.
But mermaids doesn't... I guess mermaids can just do it later? Like... yeah, wow. So
will Halai get to under... Will he get to under 3?
Under 3 what?
Structures?
Will he get to under 3? Like, will he be left with 2 structures left on the board?
Yeah.
Yeah, I would imagine. I think so. I mean, he builds a trading post.
He needs to build another...
He builds 1 trading
temple.
post, and he has a town. And then the question is, can he just afford another TP trading post dwelling after a whole extra town coming in? I would imagine.
And then D finesse should dig G1.
So an interesting thing that happened here is we saw Deep Finesse build an expensive trading post on I5, which only makes sense to me if he's planning on towning. How does that make sense? Help, Jekyll, help me with this. Help.
I'm at a loss. Can he afford all this?
Well, the problem is it's like, initially I thought it was like, okay, digs I8 and then just does his town there, because that's a double dig, but then he needs another trading post.
How did he get so much power? He took a priest with 6 in bowl 3, and all of a sudden, most of it's moved to bowl 3. Did he accept a big leech?
It started off with a 2-for-1 on G6. And then he's gotten 2 power since then or something. Well, he got 1 on the with the stronghold on H2, and 2 from the sanctuary, the giant sanctuary, C3D4. So that's 2, 3, yeah. So that's 5 power. He spent 6 on a priest and then gained 5 back for 2 victory points. But Bexor, Bexor, I think I've got that right, points out the obvious line here is that I guess Deep Finesse is just going Stronghold on I5 and a double dig on I8. Is that what that must mean, Jekyll?
So he'll get down to 4. That is very, very expensive.
Yeah, it is. It's like all of his.
I guess, like, let's see. If he takes Worker Town, he can afford another TP. I don't know about the coins, like if he can afford all this. But
he gets a leech, and then
actually,
all
no,
his
he can't.
power are coins for the double dig, and then he strongholds, which gives him a coin, 2 workers, and a dwelling. So it's like worker to coin for the dwelling, and then he towns up, and doesn't have enough stuff to even do another flight. Not understanding. Yeah.
We'll keep the faith.
Keep
He
the
knows
faith.
what he's doing.
Keep the faith. So we do see mermaids lock up fire. That was the other thing that I was wondering about. Giants, when they built their sanctuary on C3, did fire 2 in a cult town, which put them in a position. They were both on step 9 for a moment, but then mermaids did follow with a priest bump for the win there.
Is Mermaids doing better than I thought? Like, they're getting another town. They're the only ones with a points pass roll. 3 cult wins.
Well, is it 3 cult wins? They have 1 more priest. I mean, that they spent a lot of priests on that fire cult. They did a bump last round, and then they did a bump this round. So they send a priest to water and hope no one attacks Earth, or they... do they have any priests left in their supply? Sorry, folks, I didn't scroll down previously. They have 1 priest in their supply, so they could take a priest town, and... Yeah, I don't know if there's 2 cult wins there, right? Like, there might be, but... Depends if halfling... I guess the question is, it depends, like, if halflings priests are priests, or if they're fancy workers, and whether they can, attack an open earth cult or something like that. Yeah, it's a good point, Rafa and Nico. The whole, like, they're not in contention for network. Like, Fakirs and Giants both beat them on networks. The question is, do they manage a clean 3rd against halflings? Do they tie halflings? Do they just get last? Like, 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, I guess they probably... I don't know if they beat halflings or not. Maybe. But yeah, they're not doing great in network. I feel like it's a little late to run a poll, a formal poll asking people who's going to win, because someone could just, like, calc it out on the math. But I'll just throw it out to chat in general. Just spam in chat, like, the order of who you like, how you think this is going to shake down. Give me 1st, 2nd, 3rd, and 4th.
I think Halai, Fakirs, Mermaids, Halflings.
Halflings in last? Yes, yeah.
It makes a little bit of sense. Like, their mid game, I was just kind of like looking at the map and not really seeing any changes in brown. So there was a little bit of slowness, like, in the mid game, I think.
So wait, Rafa agrees with Jekyll that the 2 players that built round 2 sanctuaries are coming in last? Isn't that something I want to read into more than I'm supposed to?
Yes, that caused it.
It was definitely that, and that only, right?
That was definitely causation there.
Exactly. Oh, wow, that's really nice, Bowser. You and I, Jekyll, apparently win simultaneously all places in this game.
I don't know what that means.
Okay, so we see a town for mermaids. What's it going to be, folks?
Free.
Coin
I was gonna
town.
say
More
Priest
stuff.
Town.
More stuff. More stuff. I mean, so there's the double dig from Fakirs.
And then they'll jump, right? To get those 2 coins from their landscape, and then they'll build their stronghold.
No, because they don't have a dwelling. That would be the thing to do.
Oh.
Like, I think what they could do is send a priest to air so that they're not converting both so that they're left with a worker, that it doesn't become a coin or something, so that they can then take, well, there's a coin town and then do another jump. You know what I mean?
And that in that case, is stronghold worth building here?
Versus just a trading post.
Yeah, I mean, he doesn't have water 1.
It's
but like
true.
to end with like an open yellow and 3 priests.
It's yeah. It's not worth 5 points, of course. Yeah. No, you're totally right. It's just another expensive trading post. Or maybe mermaids are like, the other thing is, our mermaids going to take single spade now? I mean, gosh, they've been flexing it like they've been. I guess no one had the resources to close H7 or do anything other than leave it green, but like, I just feel like right now we should probably see maybe a single spade on H7. I guess the thing about mermaids is that they can just do B3 and not give Fakirs the neighbor. But I assume, yeah.
Oh, I see. Right.
Right. And they needed to town, like, they needed to get the coin town and stuff like that, but now they're in firing range, so to speak. I think this is probably single spade.
Yeah, it's tricky because like if I haven't done the math, so I don't know how close they are in points.
That's
Okay,
nice.
so yeah,
That's
maybe just
nice
like
for
helping
D-Finesse.
D-Finesse is, he must have decided is just not. Maybe he's like, I'm just getting 3rd anyway.
Yeah, I
Is he
mean, this
getting
is
3rd? I think he's getting 3rd.
It's safer to H7 into H9, I think, here for mermaids, because, I mean, giants are going to dig down more structures at some point. And they don't. I don't know. I guess there's just a chance that giants have extra resources or something. I haven't thought it through everything, but that they could, like, just snipe A2. Nico, you play mainly on turn-based? Yeah.
I agree, Nico. I get like heart palpitations when I'm trying to do the math, like freaking out.
Yeah, well, there's a few schools of thoughts on live play. One is just like, playing more on the Rainier line of things, which is just playing by feel. Being like, yeah, I probably have enough coins to connect, and it's just like down to the wire. And then just your intuition gets good, I guess. Or it's like,
And you think he would do that in Premier League?
Rainier?
Yeah.
He'd probably
should
play
be
a little
okay.
bit slower. But I've seen him like on some pretty tough arena streams where he was like, wanted to win, but he was still just like not sitting there calcing out, well, if I send this priest to this call, it's getting me 2 power and this leech, which means, like counting everything out just to figure out how many coins you have. Or he's just like sort of playing on feel and assuming that there's enough there. And then there's the other end of the spectrum, which is people like me who just run their clocks down, and people hate playing me on arena because I can't play a game not streaming 28 minutes streaming. Ooh.
When I play turn-based in the last round, I almost calculate everybody's points every round, every turn. Like we go through one turn, I'm like, recalculate. Go through another turn, recalculate.
That's intense. Okay. So
Okay, so DFNS did do the TP.
did you? Yeah. I don't know why I was stuck on Stronghold for so long. Obviously, this just makes so much more sense. I mean, especially with the neighbor.
Right. So he's down to 3. I'm guessing Halai is able to get
Down to 2.
down to 2.
I don't know. That's 6 workers, which he has, and he needs 2 hexes to build on, and he has a stronghold ability in G1. Yeah, he can get down to 2 structures. I mean, everyone else is out of juice to. I mean, unless Deep Finesse like hard digs
Oh,
G1.
DFNS.
What?
I think he should.
Hard dig G1 with 2 workers and a priest? Yeah, probably. That last priest to air spot's just chilling. I think Deep Finesse wants a priest to air. That hard dig and then a bump on air to win air. Something like that. Yeah. And yeah, so mermaids are coming in last in network. I mean, I guess he could hard dig down a structure here. Oh. And he probably actually does that. Wait, yeah.
Yeah, 7 tuna's out.
7 tuna's out.
And he has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 structures.
Right. So mermaids are tied. So this is, this could be a ship advance. Right? This could be 5 points. Or he can hard dig a landscape, have a resource point. So that's, 4 to the table, but it's 7 to halflings. So it depends on what place he's in. And he just goes to, he just advances his ship.
That was just a 3-point hard dig, right?
6 to halflings. Because there'd be a 6-point delta to halflings, and then you have a resource point. So it would be 4 to the table, 7 to halflings. So it just depends on versus 5 to the table. So I haven't looked at the place order, but this makes sense if he's ahead of halflings, not behind them. Oh, the other line was air 1 for mermaids. Oh, air 1 and tie air. Oh, priest to air and air 1. Yeah, anyhow, someone can do that math.
Oh, interesting.
A dig advance. Yeah. Okay, well, this is interesting because as opposed to the priest to air and the air bump, he's just doing a dig advance, and now he can do 2 priests. A 2-priest dig. Which I guess, yeah, is that more points? No, I don't think. I don't know.
Did he just take some leech? Oh, just 1.
Yeah. So this is a pass from mermaids. Pass for 8. And so Halai will win water or earth here, right? He still needs to build a temple. So he can just build Earth 3.
Cool. Nice Giants game. It's very satisfying to win as Giants. 2 temples.
Okay. So Halai is, yeah, there's no way for Halai to win network outright here.
Really?
Well, he'd need to spend 2 of his workers on a temple, 2 for a trading post, and then he needs 2 workers, 1 for a well, he'd need 2 workers for a dig and 1 for a dwelling.
I
is
didn't
like
see
9.
Deep Finesse stick that. Okay.
Yeah. So Deep Finesse did, so he did the dig advance, and then the 2 priests were left to do a 2-worker dig.
Okay.
So he converted his final resources to 6-point dig advance as opposed to the priests to cults and stuff. Which presumably was just a calculation that that's more points against giants. Which I guess it is, right? Going from 3rd to 1st in air is like 5 points to giants, but a dig advance is just 6. I don't know. So all you care about is your point difference between yourself and giants. I guess the dig advance was a point later. I don't know. I might be missing some math there. So air 3 for giants.
And then another Earth 3. Is that what we're gonna see here?
Well, yeah, I guess so. Yeah, over a trading post. A trading post is 3 points. Temple costs a little bit more, and it's 4 points. So I guess it is just is it Earth 3? Which means it's of course Earth 2 for style. I think this is Earth 2.
I don't see why Earth 2 is more stylish than Earth 3.
No, it just is, I think. I don't know. Isn't Earth 2, Chad, isn't Earth 2 here better than Earth 3? This...
Oh no, I hate Earth 2.
Air 2 and then 5 power. I don't know, L4. If you're just taking air 2. Yeah, I don't think. I don't know.
Well, it doesn't really seem to matter too much. He's winning this either way, right?
Air 2 and 5 power priest to earth is still just 4 extra points. But it requires a priest. So it's just earth 3. Oh.
And then a priest to air.
Now it's a priest, a 5 power priest to air. Wow. That's 20 call points for giants here then. And 15 network? Wow. Yeah, this is great. 5 power priest to air, I think, makes it a 150 score for giants. Yep.
Oh, good game.
Yeah, that's yeah, that's pretty nice. Not a single air 1 take. Interesting. Yeah, it's not often that you see not a single air 1 take. Yeah, wow. This was what a wild ride this one was. Totally smooth. Yeah, 20 call points for giants. I think that's what that works out to. You know, the 2 points on water. I mean, the thing is, it's just also really nice to get all these points without locking any of them out, right? Like it's pretty efficient use of resources. Last round air 1 not better than 3 call bump usually. It's true, Rafa. Yeah. Only in really tight air races where the bump itself is worth a lot of points. Wow, it's down to the wire between mermaids and halflings. Is there a resource point in play? There isn't. Are halflings and mermaids just tying for third here? I guess so. Amazing. Well, congratulations to Halai on this game. In a moment, we're gonna get him. We're gonna get him on the line and do a post-game interview. Anything you just while we're waiting for Halai to get on the line, anything you just wanted to break down about the game, Jekyll?
I mean, I think Halai's like the Giants' game plan was. I'm not gonna say it was straightforward because that's kind of taking away from Halai's like really really great game, but you know they looked very strong. Like they're like again like as long as they can start in the spots that they want to start in and then still connect. You know, he got good cult, good network. Like this is the Giants like the ideal game plan. 3 towns like,
Yeah,
and he pulled it all off. Without Earth One.
totally. Yep, absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was really great.
Yeah, like all of that, you know, we think that Giants can't win without Earth One, that they need that scoring, but Halai showed us.
I mean, is anyone super surprised that Halai showed us all how it's done on Giants? Getting him on in a second, folks. I'm just sending him a link to the Discord so he can jump in. What do you think went so well for Giants here, though? Like,
I think you know, the lack of nomads, the lack of NGs, like that middle sanctuary
yeah,
town that he could just really take his time building. Like he didn't have to build the sanctuary early. He didn't even have to dig those very early. Like that's nice to just be able to like get what you need at the time that you want to get them.
yeah, totally. There's a lot of efficiency in there in getting that town in the center. Is that Halai that just jumped in?
I tried to, but my voice is not on my headset. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I think we can hear you great. I might turn you up a little bit, but overall you're sounding clear. Congrats on a great game. What an amazing Giants game. This is a real
Thanks.
pleasure to watch. Congratulations. What was your sort of plan going into this game, and how did things kind of change as the game unfolded?
Well, my plan was to confuse others in the auction and try to get halflings for a good price.
Okay, fair
So I was
enough.
jumping around between the factions, trying to stay in a range where I felt comfortable. But I originally wanted to play halflings. And then Deep Finesse was going heavily on Giants, and I felt more and more like there could be some Giants game. And then the auction ended and it just started. I don't know. I didn't expect it to end that fast, but I was okay, I think.
Interesting. So you were bidding on Giants just to sort of keep the bidding going on them, like initially at the beginning of the game, were you not overly satisfied with the price that you paid? You were just sort of bidding them down to hope that other people would as well.
Halflings now? Are you talking
No, I'm
about
talking about
halflings?
Giants. You were saying that you were just like bidding around,
Okay.
trying to get a good price on on halflings. That kind of leads me to believe that you were like bidding Giants down more than you thought they should be.
No, I don't think that's the case. I think I was always bidding them, but I always felt like I still prefer playing halflings. But I
Right.
don't know. I'm sometimes I'm doing weird stuff in auctions.
Right. Right. Fair enough.
And I was always struggling whether there is some Temple Giants plan or not, and that made me. I find it hard to estimate Temple Giant plans, but I was scared someone else would find one, but I wouldn't go for it. I thought, unless I managed to open Stronghold and Temple, but I didn't get enough leads for that. I went
Right.
for the priest line, which denied me the worker action in round 1, and without workers, I can't do Stronghold and Temple.
Right. Of course. Yeah, we were Jekyll and I were talking about the temple line early on, and because of I mean, of course, it was glaring on the track, temple into stronghold. Wondering whether someone would give that a shot. I think kind of the conclusion we came to is like, if you land on the big building tile in round 1, you're just less apt to try to go that sort of risky line because you can still get your 4 points on the tile anyhow.
Yeah, exactly. And it was likely to get it. since Spade and Temp Ship were very interesting for halflings and mermaids.
Right. Jekyll, I don't want to hog the mic the whole time. What questions do you have for Halai?
I guess like what did you think when the Earth ones just went in round 2 like super fast?
It's funny, I sat here with a friend of mine and I told him, oh, now they all set up to grab Earth 1. Just one move before I could get it. And, well, we anticipated it and it happened. But it was a pain for a few seconds. But after that, I realized that not going for a temple gave me such a great economy because I was able to grab the hex B6, which I was scared I could lose to mermaids.
Mhm.
So setting that up and delaying the temple to round 3 was, in the end, I think it fit more to my game style. So I was happy I didn't get it in the end.
Right, especially with all the other players kind of breaking their backs to get it.
Yeah, exactly.
Mm-hmm.
And then they even rushed Water 1 quite quickly, which I was surprised about. But
Right.
in hindsight, I was glad to get Water 1 in round 3 then, and didn't have to rush for that. So then I could focus on economy.
Right. Yeah, it makes a lot of sense. Which faction here were you most concerned about for most of the game? Who are you really watching here?
I mean, I'm generally always most concerned about deep finesse, so there is a bit more focus on fakirs in that game, but I couldn't do a lot anyway. But I was scared they could, for example, they could dig some more hexes of mine, which they didn't. So I think fakirs once they had the range, which was quite early, I don't know when, maybe round 3, 4. They threatened lots of my hexes, and my ship 2 upgrade was quite late, so I was scared of them personally, but in general, I thought mermaids might explode in the end because the track looked to me like it's a good one to go temple and sanctuary and then set up all the dwellings in round 4 and 5. So explode in the end and the stronghold bonus in round 6 looks like a great mermaid game, and they managed to win all the cards. So I think they were set up to explode, and I was waiting for it, but I was happy it didn't happen in the end.
Yeah, we weren't sure either with mermaids. There was part of me that was really kind of keeping an eye on the game and sort of rooting for them in a way once we sort of saw how their mid game developed. That Sanctuary seemed so expensive, but it allowed them to sort of town up in round 3, take the 2-key town. They were very cult dominant, and then were able to get out quite a few dwellings in the dwelling round. But it never quite seemed to pick up enough steam to be fully competitive at the table.
Yeah.
Yeah. What were some of? I guess one question I have for you is like, were there any sort of like particular breaks that you thought you got during this game? Things that if they hadn't gone your way might have sort of thrown things in a bad direction for you.
I think I got coins way too much. In the end, I was even able to take coins even if I didn't need them, just to block the others, because halflings and mermaids needed lots of coins. So I think those early coins, I think I got them in round 1 and round 2.
Oh, okay.
That was crucial just to do anything I wanted economy wise.
Right.
And the hex, what was it? Let me turn on the hexes for a second. C4
Yes.
was my connection and my center town, and it was very crucial. And mermaids might grab it, so I was a bit scared, but I was gambling on delaying it until the very last to secure other hexes, but not getting this one, of course, takes me out of the game. I think I didn't see anyone to really afford it, but you never know.
Right. Yeah, that's a really good point. We were talking about that at one point in the game about just as you were coming on about like how clean that really felt that you were able to going all the way back to round 1, there was sort of the question about noticing you upgrade on C7, right? And it's like, well, that felt like a future stronghold for a nice 4-hex town, for a future sanctuary town in sort of, where you're going to build your first temple in C3, C2. And it just felt so clean that you're able to town there without needing a bridge. And for anyone who's played any amount of lakes, like, regardless of the colors, like that center peninsula, it can just be really hard for a lot of colors to get a town, right? I mean, it's hard for brown to dig in there. It's hard for blue. And so it was just like, yeah, just super nice to see to see a setup where, you know, I think it was kind of early on, we're like, oh gosh, I guess Giants are just going to take these hexes. Like, who else are kind of coming after them? So that felt really, really strong
Yeah.
for you.
But coming back to your first question, I think literally my game plan was just greeding all the time. I was just going for no compromise this time, and yeah. So going for the town in the east is one part of those.
Can you unpack that a little bit more, just for our audience? Like, what do you mean by agreed no compromise plan? Like, what does that look like, and what is sort of the alternative there?
I mean, one alternative is not taking coins in round 1 to burn down to 5 power, which is a bit painful because I was able to take some double spades in round 4 or 5, which I couldn't now, and I couldn't get all my power from round 5 income. And then I was waiting for the hex c4 very long. I mean, I could secure connection, but I was just not taking it. And b6 I could have gone for b6 earlier too, but I was just keeping all the options and delaying stuff.
Right.
Yes, I think mermaids, like there was another line where they do more of a dwelling rush, and if they had, then I think some of those concerns that you had would have been more like possible, you know. But like mermaids, even in mid game, they had blues just sitting open, so it would never make sense for them to then hard dig b6 or like do a double dig on c4 when like.
Yeah, exactly. I was confused because they were setting up for a dwelling spree, and then they changed their mind, it seemed, and went for a temple. I think the dwelling rush looked weird at the first sight, but it might have been good because it was not too worker full the game, so they could just afford a few hard digs and really go for 3-town huge game.
Yeah, fair enough.
But then I get Earth 1, so it's just
yeah.
It's different. It's so different then.
Yeah, it's a very different game. Any final questions for Halai, Jekyll?
No. Great game. That was very fun to watch.
Yeah. Awesome playing, Halai.
Thanks a lot. I'm gonna watch the video.
Yeah, sounds good. Good luck with the rest of the tournament.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye for now.
Bye.
That was the interview with Halai, the winner of Game 2. I don't know when Halai's bye week is coming up. I think he's playing next week, though. I don't know the schedule in front of me. But for those who are newer to Terra Mystica, Halai is a household favorite. I think it's fair to call him. He's a fantastic player. He's always a joy to play against and to chat with. So, yeah, really nice to see him come out on the top here for a win. Any final words for the audience, Jekyll, before we wrap things up for tonight?
So D-Finesse came back with a nice second place. So he's still definitely in it. Halai with a second and a first so far. So at the top of the leaderboard.
Yeah, fantastic. That's great. Thanks so much for doing this with me. Again, Jekyll. And you're back next week as well.
I think no. I'm currently in Spain, and I think next week I'm traveling.
Okay, fair enough. So there'll be another guest on for next week, and then we'll see you the week after. That's great. Thanks so much for everyone for tuning in for this. Thanks for all the activity in chat. There was tons of discussions going on. Sorry I didn't get to engage with more of it throughout. But hope to see you back next week. Game 3 is broadcast here again next week, as per usual. It's the same channel, same time, Tuesday, 5:30 p.m. Eastern time next week. So we hope to see you there. Thanks so much for tuning in, everyone, and enjoy the rest of your evening. Bye for now.
Good night.